So I've got that back corner cleaned out. But the next question I've got in my head is what's next in this project? I'm trying to figure that out. The semi-obvious thing to do is finish the dig here. Take out that piece of concrete, get rid of all that dirt, right back to about where it is now is probably far enough to go once it's cut straight. But in my head, that's a dilemma because I have nowhere to put the dirt except to hire a skip. But I don't want to hire a skip while the dirt is still in the ground because that will put a lot of pressure on me to dig it out and get it into the skip because you pay for a skip by the week. Besides which, I've already got stockpiles of buckets, a stockpile of dirt hiding there, stockpile of dirt down here, more buckets over here. So one option would be to buy a whole heap of new buckets and keep stockpiling in here. Another option is to stockpile the dirt in the back corner over there. And that's a semi-reasonable option insofar as loose dirt is easier to get into the buckets to take up to the skip than compacted dirt in the ground. But to get the dirt from this end of the shed requires a journey like this. To the skip that'll be parked there, which is a lot of work. So thinking about that last week, I came up with a plan that I like, but it's a significant addition to this project. But if I'm going to do it, now's the time to do it. And that idea was to put a lift shaft behind that wall, cut the wall, dig in, and put a lift shaft to the shed upstairs. I've done all the measuring, and the lift shaft would come up about where that blue box is, which is right under that crane. Of course, it's not just about getting the dirt from downstairs to up. The addition of a shaft between the two workshops, it'd be super cool. Gorilla cart, tipper truck, my own little tip truck, tips like this, all the way over. I've built a ramp so I can stockpile higher in that corner. I'm going to shift this dirt with my truck to see if it works. If it doesn't work, that's fine. This I want for later. I'm going to make my lift shaft big enough to take that truck, stick it in the lift, drag it upstairs, and then pull it out and stockpile out on the driveway until we're ready to hire a man with a tip truck and a skid steer. That's probably the easiest way I think of doing it. But anyway, that's for later. Pushing it up the ramp with a load in it was dead easy. The hardest part was holding it up there. So I need some kind of braking system to hold it in place while I tip it. But yeah, that worked well. It didn't need doing, but I wanted to. It looks great, I think, and I've improved the drainage as well. Today's the day. Start cutting the holes. So my plan is to make the shaft on that back wall the same width as the steps here and perfectly in line with that. That's why I've got a laser running along the edge of that and then up the wall there. So that's my vertical, my right hand side vertical. $10 laser from Temu, so it could be wonky as, but seems to work okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I think that's enough. My intent is to do 5 bricks high because I want it designated as a goods lift, not a people lift. The measurement of this, well, first of all, it's the same width as the stairs. But secondly, it's got to be deep enough and tall enough for my new tipping truck. That's got to go up the lift to get the dirt out upstairs. That's the primary concern at this stage. I won't call this a point of no return, but it's a big deal. But if I hit something untoward behind the bricks, like solid concrete or something, then I'll just brick it back up and forget about it. But here we go. It's pretty easy, of course, because it's only hollow blocks. But I'm not very good at cutting a straight line. So I can barely see through them at the best of times. But with more fog and with dust flying around, I can barely see anything. Hence, that's why I cut my top line 1 block too high and 1 block too wide. Plastic there, and behind that is dark soil, not clay, quite moist too. Looks good. This idiot forgot to press record again. I even had it on slow motion this time when I was swinging a hammer. But what I discovered in here is kind of encouraging and kind of a worry. A, it's got some good dirt in it. B, it's got rocks and beer bottles and all sorts of clag in there. And C, it's caving out, I guess you'd say, caving out, which is, I mean, it's only a little bit. The shed's not going to fall down. I'm going to do some cleaning up here now, get rid of this first pile and make room to swing a hammer again. How many times can one idiot talk to a camera without pressing record and not realize till he's finished talking. I tell you, it's quite a few times. Anyway, I've cleaned up some of the dirt, separating concrete from clay into different buckets. I'm now going to poke the beast and see what falls out, just for fun. Right, well it looks like there's a lot of big rubble in there, which is good. It could be easier to handle. That's probably concrete bits, and they seem to be sort of pretty deliberately stacked. Okay, well, it's better than clay, that's what I'm thinking. It's a good start for a day's work, isn't it? For an hour's work. Okay. I might leave it at that for today.